The AMX is a true sports car, equally at home on the street or the strip. The AMX and the Javelin are opening up a whole new market for you. Members of the younger sporty set are coming into American Motors dealers all across the country. Now's the time to make your conquests and capture these prospects for lifelong clients. Peter Rossi and his fiancée Joan Corsi are good examples. They first saw a 1969 AMX at a rally. Then they came across an article about its racing success. That brought them into the showroom for a closer look. Al Bender, whom you have met before, starts his conquest with a friendly greeting. Let's listen in on their conversation. But from time to time, you'll hear this tone. That is the sign to stop the record and answer a question or show how you would present a feature. After that, you can turn on the record again to see how Al Bender does it.
Hello. It's nice to see you. I'm Al Bender.
Hi. I'm Pete Rossi, and this is my fiancée, Joan Corsi. We're getting a car for a wedding present, and we wanted to look at your sports cars.
Well, congratulations. Are you any relation to Mr. Gene Rossi, the architect? He bought an ambassador from me last month.
He's my uncle. As a matter of fact, he's the one who suggested that we come in here.
Oh, you said you were interested in sports cars. We have the Javelin and the AMX. Which one did you have in mind?
We've been reading great things about the AMX, so we came in to see one.
Oh, fine. It's right over here.
As they move toward the car, Al makes his opening statement. He mentions some of the outstanding features, such as the powerful engine, mag-styled wheels, the simulated exhaust rocker panel, the dual exhausts, the sports steering wheel, the front sway bar, the tachometer, and the speedometer. Before listening to Al, let's hear how you would start to make a conquest of Pete and Joan from this view.
The AMX is America's lowest-priced two-seat sports car. You get eye-catching style and a long, low, racy, sporty profile. Here's a car that's track-proven for top performance, and it comes equipped with all the standard sports items. You get the largest standard V8 engine in its class, the 360 cubic inch 4-barrel V8 with top horsepower at 290. At no extra cost, you get mag-styled steel wheels, dual exhausts, a front sway bar, tachometer, a 140-mile-per-hour speedometer, and a rim-blow sports steering wheel. And that's just a few of the standard items. For a little extra, you can have the 390 Go package with special extras like power front disc brakes and larger tires, or a host of other options that can tailor-make your car. Now, I sold one of these with the 390 Go package last month. A fellow by the name of George Hamlin bought it. Do you happen to know him?
Joan, I'll bet he's the one we saw at that rally last week.
Maybe you're right. I did hear someone call him George.
He sure had that car souped up with a lot of extra equipment. He had those wheels, too, didn't he, Joan?
Yes, he did. I think they're real sporty.
Did you say those are standard equipment, Mr.?
Bender. Al Bender.
How would you answer Pete's question? And what would you tell him about the mag-styled wheels? This is the way Al answered.
Yes, Mr. Rossi. Those wheels are standard on the AMX. Besides the sporty look, they're stronger and run cooler.
Joan's question about the mag-styled wheels shows Al that Joan and Pete are equally interested in the sporty looks of the AMX. So he follows up by pointing out some other high-style features that are easily seen as they approach the car. What else would you point out with this view of the AMX? Al usually talks up the racing stripe and also the simulated exhaust rocker panel. While they're near the door by the driver's seat, Al usually points out the recessed handle. This is the time he also mentions the finish and rust-proofing. However, Al picked up the fact that Pete and Joan have a real interest in performance, so Al plans to give them a demonstration drive as soon as possible. But before going out on the road, Al gets Joan to sit in the driver's seat, where she checks out the armrest that is available in the models with the 4-speed manual floor shift. Al also talks about the individually adjustable seats and the upholstery choices. Then he gets Pete to take a turn in the driver's seat. While Pete is in the driver's seat, Al calls attention to the rim-blow horn and the completely new instrument panel. For performance-minded prospects like Pete and Joan, he emphasizes the 140-mile-per-hour speedometer and the 8,000 RPM tachometer. What would you say about these two items if you were talking to Pete? Al usually says,
The easy-to-monitor 140-mile-per-hour speedometer and the 8,000 RPM tach are standard on the AMX. You get them at no extra cost.
I've never used a tach before, but that sounds great.
it's a natural to move on and talk about the Hurst shift after mentioning the tachometer. So Al describes the Hurst shift and then mentions other transmission options. What would you tell Pete about them? Al describes the Hurst shift and the other transmission options this way.
Mr. Rossi, this model has the Hurst shift mounted on the floor. This 4 on the floor is standard. It's a close ratio all-synchro-mesh shifter that gives you faster acceleration and shifting. Or if you prefer, you can order our Shift Command automatic transmission with console. Now, how about that test drive I promised you?
After Al has given Joan and Pete a demonstration, he takes them around to the front to show them the engine. But Pete notices something unusual.
What are those holes in the bumper?
And those are the new front air scoops that funnel air to the brakes to cool them. This is important, especially for high-performance driving.
That sounds like a good idea.
Now let me show you the engine that generates all that power you felt in driving the AMX.
While they're looking at the engine, Al points out some special features of the engine and describes options available. If Pete and Joan were your prospects, what would you tell them about the engine options for the AMX? If the prospect is really knowledgeable about racing cars, Al will go into detail about the engines. But ordinarily, he just talks in more general terms, like this.
You have a choice of 2 engines with the AMX. You can have the standard 360 CID or the optional 390 CID engine. Both engines are excellent for all-around performance and responsiveness. Now, what do you think your choice will be?
Well, I know I'd like the 390. How about you, Joan?
Yes, I guess so. But I didn't know whether Dad will approve of it.
Well, while you're discussing that, why don't we go into my office and you can pick out your colors and upholstery and other options.
I know what color I want. It's that big, bad orange.
Well, my favorite is their big bad green and the brown vinyl inside.
I think the big, bad orange with the black leather would be a real eye-catcher. Besides...
I'll tell you what. I know you like an automatic shift, but I'll go along with your color scheme if you'll agree to that 390 Go package with the Hurst shift.
Well, okay. As long as we can get an AMX.
You can expect a lot more of the younger set like Pete and Joan to come into the showroom to get a good look at the AMX. Once they get behind the wheel, the 1970 AMX will convince them that is the car they have to have. So, with a little help from you, the AMX will develop a lot of admirers and performance drivers.
Sold?
Sold.